Long ago, in a quiet and beautiful village surrounded by green fields and tall trees, there lived 4 childhood friends. Their names were Ravi, Mahesh, Kiran, and Arjun. The 4 of them had grown up together. They played together as children, studied together in the village school, and now they worked together in the fields. But as time passed, their lives became very different. Ravi, Mahesh, and Kiran were fortunate. Their fathers had left them large pieces of land. Their farms were fertile, and every year their crops grew well. They owned bullocks, tools, and houses. People in the village respected them, but the 4th friend, Arjun, had nothing. His parents had died when he was young. They had left him no land, no house, and no money. To survive, Arjun worked in the farms of his 3 friends. Every morning before sunrise, Arjun would arrive at the fields. He helped plow the land, plant seeds, carry water, and harvest crops. He worked harder than anyone. At the end of the day, his friends would give him some food and a little grain, and Arjun was grateful. He never complained. His heart was simple, calm, and kind, but unfortunately, his friends did not see his goodness. One afternoon, after finishing their work, the 4 friends sat under a large banyan tree near the fields. The wind was cool, and the birds were singing. Ravi leaned back and said proudly, "Life is good for us." Mahesh nodded, "Yes. We are truly lucky people." Kiran looked at the wide green fields and said, "We have land, crops, houses, and wealth. We will live comfortably for the rest of our lives." Then Ravi looked at Arjun and laughed, "But poor Arjun." Mahesh joined the laughter, "You work all day, but you own nothing." Kiran added, "You are unlucky compared to us." Arjun simply smiled. He quietly continued eating the simple meal they had shared with him. He did not feel anger or jealousy. His heart was peaceful. A few days later, news spread that a grand festival was happening in a nearby village. There would be music, food, dancing, and many people gathering from different places. The 4 friends became excited. "Let's go together," Ravi said. Since the village was not very far, they decided to walk. Early the next morning, they started their journey. The road passed through fields, small forests, and quiet paths. As they walked, they talked and laughed. After some time, they saw an old monk sitting under a tree beside the road. The monk looked peaceful and wise. His long beard moved gently in the wind. The 4 friends stopped to greet him respectfully. The monk slowly opened his eyes and looked at them carefully. Then he smiled. "You 4 friends are very lucky," he said. Ravi immediately felt proud. "Yes, we are lucky," he replied confidently. "We have land and wealth." But the monk gently shook his head. Then he pointed toward Arjun. "You 3 are lucky, because you have this friend with you." The 3 friends looked confused. Then Mahesh burst into laughter. "What are you saying, monk? He is poor. He is lucky to have us." Kiran added proudly, "We feed him every day." The monk remained calm. He simply smiled and said quietly, "Time will answer you." The friends did not understand his words. They laughed and continued walking toward the festival. By afternoon, the sky suddenly became dark. Heavy clouds gathered above them. Strong winds started blowing. Soon a powerful storm began. Rain poured heavily, and thunder roared across the sky. The 4 friends began running to find shelter. Finally, they saw a large tree and stood under it to escape the rain. But the storm became more dangerous. Suddenly, a bright flash of lightning struck a tree in the distance. The loud sound terrified them. Mahesh said nervously, "This is dangerous. Lightning could strike this tree." Kiran looked worried. Then Ravi said slowly, "What if one of us has bad luck today?" They became silent. Kiran said, "Maybe death is waiting for one of us." Mahesh thought for a moment and then said, "We can test it." The others looked at him. "We will leave the tree one by one. Whoever lightning strikes must be the unlucky one." The others agreed. First, Ravi ran away from the tree and stood in the open field. He waited nervously in the heavy rain. But nothing happened. After a minute, he ran back safely. Then Mahesh went. He stood in the storm while thunder roared above him, but lightning did not strike him. He also returned safely. Next, Kiran tried. He stood far from the tree, shaking with fear, but again nothing happened. Now only Arjun remained. Ravi looked at him and said, "Now it is your turn." Arjun nodded quietly. Without anger or fear, he slowly walked away from the tree and stood alone in the open field. Rain fell heavily on his face. Thunder shook the sky. He closed his eyes and waited calmly, and then, a massive lightning bolt crashed from the sky, but it did not strike Arjun. It struck the tree where Ravi, Mahesh, and Kiran were standing. The powerful lightning killed all three of them instantly. Arjun, standing far away, survived. When the storm ended, Arjun slowly walked back toward the tree. His three friends were gone, their wealth, their pride, their land. None of it had saved them. Arjun stood silently, and suddenly he remembered the monk's words, "You are lucky to have this friend." At that moment, Arjun understood the meaning. Perhaps his good heart had protected them all along, but when they pushed him away from the tree, they lost that protection. Years later, the villagers often told this story, and they shared its lesson with their children. True fortune is not always land, wealth, or property. Sometimes the greatest blessing in life is a good person standing beside you. Never laugh at someone because they are poor, because sometimes the person you call unlucky may be the very blessing protecting your life.